There sure are a lot of weird numbers involved when dealing with home theaters nowadays. 5.1, 7.1, 5.2.2, 7.2.4, so many configurations. I'm here to break them all down for you and tell you which receivers support those configurations. Let's get into it. Hello all, my name is Elon Osborne and I'm standing.
Cool.
My name is Elon Osborne and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about movies, audio, and music. And if you enjoy those things and happen to enjoy my presentation of such things, please consider these many ways to help support this channel so I can continue to bring you this super neato content.
Like this video, subscribe, become a patron, rock some merch, get some tunes, read my children's book to you kids.
Link in description. Link in description. Boy!
In this video, I'll only be focusing on systems that require good old-fashioned AV receivers. So if you're here for soundbars,
Get the heck out of here.
or you can watch my 2021 soundbar buying guide. And I won't be going over any configurations that require separates, because that's a video in and of itself. But you can watch this video where I go over the basics of separates.
Shameless plug, 5.1.
This is your typical baseline surround sound home theater system. The first number in any home theater system is the number of speakers that are at or near ear level. This ear level plane is also known as the bed layer.
No, not that kind of bed.
In this case, the bed layer consists of 5 speakers. Front left, center, front right, surround left, and surround right. The second number in any home theater system, in this case the 0.1, represents the number of subwoofers.
Side note.
Most receivers you can buy nowadays will be able to handle 2 subwoofers. So it will most likely say 5.2, 7.2, and so on. And even further still, it may only show 5.1, 7.1 in the online description. But on the back, it'll most likely still have 2 subwoofer ports to plug into, which allows 2 subwoofers to feed off the same signal.
You're my companion subwoofer.
Cool. This is actually a good thing because 2 subwoofers is always better than 1, since it fills the room and pressurizes the listening space more evenly. You don't want to hear bass coming from a particular direction. You just want to feel it all around you. So 2 is always better than 1 if you can afford it. Also from now on, we'll just assume that the receiver can handle 2 subwoofers. And now here's a list of receivers I would recommend in 2021 that can handle a basic 5.1 configuration. Feel free to pause the video at your heart's content.
Sure.
Lastly, this is the only time in this video that I'm going to also recommend speaker systems. Because if this is the tier that you're interested in, it's most likely because you're still listening to your TV speakers, or maybe you want to upgrade from a soundbar and you don't already have speakers that can plug in to a 5.1 receiver. First off, I'm always going to recommend the Klipsch Reference Theater Pack as your basic entry-level 5.1 speaker system. Costco seems to always have the best consistent deal on this package, with it always being $450 or less, even dipping all the way down to $299 at certain times of the year. It's not the greatest, but it is the best budget 5.1 system to get you up and running. And you can check out my review of it in the description below. Beyond that, you might be able to find a 5.1 Polk audio system, but if you can spend around $1,000, look no further than the SVS Prime Satellite 5.1 system. The subwoofer alone is reason to consider this package. And of course, you can check out my review of it in the description below.
7.2.
A 7-channel receiver is by far the most popular nowadays because of its versatility. More on that in a minute.
Did you just call me a moron?
Having 7 channels in your bed layer gives you a more immersive audio experience, allowing for surround channels to flank your listening position on either side, and adding surround back channels that are literally placed behind you.
Nice.
Remember how I mentioned versatility though? These are the most popular right now because all 7-channel receivers you can buy today support Dolby Atmos and DTS-X. If you happen to see a third number in any system, that equates to the number of height channels that the receiver can support. So like I said, in the case of any 7-channel receiver you buy today, it'll be able to support a traditional 7.2 channel system, or 5 bed layer channels, 2 subwoofers, and 2 height channels, which is considered a 5.2.2 system. Is it making sense now?
I think so.
And now, here's a list of 7-channel receivers I would recommend in 2021. But just a warning for your pause button finger, there are a lot. Again, at this point, I'm not going to recommend any more speaker systems because there are so many options at this point and beyond. But I do have a video about building an entry-level 5.1.2 system for less than $800, or a more powerful 5.2.2 system for less than $1,500.
Link in description.
Moving on.
9.2.
This tier of receivers is packed full of information, so buckle up. For starters, a 9-channel receiver actually can't handle a 9.2 system.
Wait, what?
Which would then add left and right front wide channels to a 7.1 system. But because of the popularity of Dolby Atmos and DTS-X, all 9-channel receivers will be able to handle a 5.2.4 or 7.2.2 system. Having 4 ceiling speakers or 4 upward firing Dolby Atmos speakers is pretty spectacular. Just another way to truly immerse yourself in a virtual 3D space.
Side note.
Before I list my recommendations for 9-channel receivers, I do want to make a correction about this video in which I discuss building a gigantic Atmos system for less than $3,000. In it, I mentioned you can do a 9.2.2 Dolby Atmos system with the Denon AVR-X3700H with the help of an external amplifier. But thanks to your boy Chana D, aka Techno Dad, he set me straight, letting me know that the X3700H's internal software can only handle 7 bed layer speakers to be assigned, not 9. So just be aware of that. It's just one of those things with manufacturers nowadays. Somebody decided that it's only going to be the more expensive receivers that will be able to handle the wide channels. Wait, they just want me to pay more money for that kind of thing? So weird, right?
And another thing.
The other thing to mention about 9-channel receivers is that it also introduces the option of having Preouts on the back, which basically means you can power some of the channels with an external amp and not have to rely only on the internal amps in the receiver. You might want to utilize this feature if you have, say, some gigantic tower speakers that just require more juice to sound good. And some 9-channel receivers can actually process a total of 11 channels with the help of an external amplifier, giving you the option of having a 7.2.4 system.
Wow. Food for thought.
You know what else is weird about manufacturers and 9-channel receivers these days?
No.
They don't sell budget versions anymore. My current receiver is an Onkyo TX NR787 that I got about 3.5 years ago. I was price watching it like a hawk around the holiday season, and I jumped on it when the price fell all the way down to $500. The reason it is a budget 9-channel receiver is because it does not have the option of Preouts on the back, so that just keeps the price down. But now, manufacturers decided,
from now on, we're only going to offer 9-channel receivers with Preouts. So the consumer has to pay at least $1,200 for it.
You can probably find a used one on eBay or Amazon. But it's just interesting how 9-channel budget receivers have just gone by the wayside. Without further ado, here is the list of 9-channel receivers.
$11.2.
Oh boy!
Whoa.
An 11-channel receiver can actually support 9 bed layer speakers. Yay! Hello, front wide channels. So with an 11-channel receiver, the internal amps can support a 9.2.2 or 7.2.4 configuration. And from what I've read in various online forums, it seems like 7.2.4 is the sweet spot for all Dolby Atmos home theater systems. Beyond that, you might just be dealing with a lot of content that maybe isn't formatted to be able to handle front wide channels, or is just only slightly better than 7.2.4, so it's not worth spending that extra cash. And just like 9-channel receivers, all 11-channel receivers have preouts, so they can technically process a total of 13 channels with the help of an external amp. So here's a list of 11-channel receivers.
$13.2.
Currently, this is the max amount of channels that a receiver can handle that is not dependent on external amps. And with 13 channels, you can have either a 9.2.4 or 7.2.6 configuration. Yep! Also, what I've read in online forums is that if you're wondering if you should have more bed layer speakers or more height channels, it's usually more advantageous to have more height channels. Because in the case of a 7.2.6 configuration, you have 2 channels a little bit in front of you, 2 channels directly above you, and 2 channels a little bit behind you. So the amount of precision with objects placed above you is just spectacular.
Note.
Although deciding on a 9.2.4 or 7.2.6 configuration also depends on the size of your home theater space. If you have a more narrow space where the projector screen or the TV is already almost to the sides, it's best to do a 7.2.6 configuration because there's not really much room to put the wide channels anyway. But if your theater space is fairly wide, stretching a good distance beyond your screen, then yeah, you might want to consider 9.2.4 since you have that extra space to create a very wide soundstage. And now for the extremely long list of 13-channel receivers. Yep, that's right. Denon is currently the only manufacturer that offers 13-channel receivers that do not require the help of external amps. But they cost a lot, especially that Denon A110. So real talk, if you do want a 9.2.4 configuration and you don't want to spend $4,000 or $5,500, just get yourself one of the many 11-channel receivers that I listed, power your front, left, center, and right speakers with an external amp, and power the remaining speakers with the internal amps of the receiver, and you will save a lot of money. I honestly just don't find it practical to spend $5,500 on a 13-channel receiver. You might as well just get a separate processor and amp. Because any home theater expert will tell you that separates just sound far superior than any receiver out there. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. And if you enjoy those things and you happen to enjoy my presentation, in this video I'll be Sephora. I'm gonna do a makeup tutorial. Since it fills the room and now here's a, that's where you either have 5 layers of lasagna. You know what else is weird about manufacturers and 9-channel receivers? Nickelodeon. Hoo-wee, hoo-wee, la 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 la, la 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 la, Elmo's World. Those are the kinds of songs that pop in your head when you have kids. I hope I was able to explain speaker Thanks for joining me on Spakikakaga Talk. I'm your host, Chad Speakerwire.
So there you have it, folks.
Whew! I hope I was able to explain speaker configurations to you in a way that made sense. But more importantly, I hope the receivers that I listed made you think, wait, what brand was that? Or, yep, that's my next upgrade. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss another video like this one. And of course, always be listening.